Got to press play. If you're looking at getting into adventure riding, whether that's road touring, long distance trips, or getting properly off-road, then choosing the right helmet isn't as straightforward as it might seem. I'm Jamie from Moto Central, and today we're going to run through some of the best adventure helmets you can buy right now. Now, within this category, you're trying to cover a lot of different riding styles in one helmet. You want something that's comfortable enough for long road miles, stable at speed on the motorway, but also works when you come off-road. Whether that's standing up on the pegs or riding slower or more technical terrain. And that's where things start to separate, because not every helmet that looks like an adventure helmet is actually designed for proper off-road use. For me personally, a true adventure helmet should be able to run goggles. That's a big one. If you can't swap the visor out and then throw goggles on when you need them, then it's leaning more towards touring than proper adventure riding. So that's the kind of helmet we're focused on in this video. Now, before we get into the list, there is one helmet we do need to mention. Shoei are bringing out the new Hornet helmet this year, and realistically, that's going to be a big player in this category. But it's not out yet, so we can't include it in this list. What we've got here instead are 5 helmets that are available right now, and that we've had proper hands-on experience with, fitting them in store, speaking to customers, and seeing how they actually perform in the real world. And in front of me, we've got 5 strong candidates. We've got the HJC, the Airoh, the Arai, the Scorpion, and the Schuberth. So if there's a specific one that you're interested in, you can use the timestamps in the description to jump straight to it. And if you're into this kind of content, make sure you hit like and subscribe. It really helps us out and lets us keep doing more of these types of videos. So let's get straight into it. So first up, we've got the Scorpion ADF 9000 Air. And if you want to check that one out properly, I'll put a link up in the top right now so you can jump straight through to it on our website. Now, this is one of those helmets that always ends up in this kind of conversation because for the money, it offers a lot. And that's really where this sits. This is a more budget-friendly option compared to some of the others that we've got here. But it doesn't feel cheap in what you're getting. You've got a full adventure setup, peak, internal visor, pin lock included, and it works really well whether you're running it with a visor or swapping over to goggles. That wide eye port makes a big difference there, especially if you're doing any off-road riding. Now, one of the standout features that we've known with Scorpion, and something they've been doing for a while, is the air fit system. So you can actually inflate the cheek pads slightly to fine-tune the fit. It sounds a bit gimmicky until you use it, but it genuinely works. It helps reduce movement, cuts down wind noise a bit, and just gives you a more secure feel overall. Ventilation is solid as well. You've got good airflow coming through, and it holds up nicely whether you're on the road or riding slow or off-road. Now, in terms of weight, on paper, it's not the lightest helmet here, but like a lot of helmets, once it's on your head, it actually carries the weight pretty well. It doesn't feel overly heavy in real-world use. You've got things like the removable peak, tool-free visor removal, and even built-in mounting points for action cameras, so it's a very practical helmet as well. The visor mechanism isn't the smoothest. It does take more of an effort than I'd like to swap it out, and fitting the pin lock can be a little bit fiddly as well. But once it's set up, it works absolutely fine. And that's kind of the theme with this helmet. It might not be the most refined option in this lineup, but in terms of value for money, it's seriously hard to ignore. So if you're looking for a proper adventure helmet that does a bit of everything, road, light off-road, touring, without spending a fortune, this is really a strong place to start. Next up, we've got the Arai Tour X5, and the colour we've got here is the Trail Blue. If you want to check this one out in more detail, I'll put a link up in the top right now so you can head straight through to it on our website. Now, I'll say this straight away. For those of you that have been watching our videos for a while, you'll know that I'm an Arai man, always have been. Arai man. Arai man. And the Tour Cross range has been around for as long as I've been in the industry, and I've been selling these helmets for years. And they've always had a really strong following. This one is a bit of an interesting one, because while this is a completely redesigned helmet on paper, in reality, Arai haven't changed the formula massively. And depending on how you look at that, it's either a good thing or a bit frustrating. You've still got that classic Arai approach, strong shell construction, that rounder profile for their glancing off philosophy, and a really solid secure fit. It feels premium, it feels safe, and it feels very much like an Arai. But it's one of those more traditional helmets in this lineup. There's still no internal sun visor, and compared to some of the others here, it doesn't feel quite as feature-packed. And I'll be honest, this is probably the trickiest helmet here when it comes to swapping between visor and goggles. It can be done, and it does work well once it's set up, but it's not the quickest or easiest system. Now, in terms of weight, it's actually one of the heavier helmets in the group on paper, but like most Arais, it carries that weight really well. Once it's on your head, it feels balanced and comfortable, especially over longer rides. Ventilation has been improved as well. You've got the new ducting system, updated chin vent, and overall it flows air through nicely whether you're on the road or off it. And the eye port is nice and wide, so running goggles there is no problem once you've actually got it set up. Now, there has been a bit of mixed feedback on this helmet. Some riders coming from the Tour X5 expected a bigger step forward, and things like the interior and some of the controls haven't impressed everyone. But from my experience, it still does what Arai does best. It's strong, it's reliable, and it's built around protection first. So it feels like a helmet for someone who values the Arai DNA, the safety philosophy, the fit, and the heritage, over having every modern feature packed in. It might not be the flashiest or the most tech-heavy option here, but it's still a very serious piece of kit. Next up, we've got the Airoh Commander 2, and the colour we've got here is the Reveal Red Fluo. If you want to check this helmet out in more detail, I'll put a link up in the top right now so you can head straight through to it on the website. Now, this is a really interesting helmet in this lineup because it sits right in that sweet spot between road and off-road. Airoh as a brand have always been very strong on the off-road side of things, and you can definitely feel that in this helmet. But at the same time, it's been designed to work really well on the road too. And that balance is what makes this stand out. You've got a peak internal sun visor, pin lock included, so from a road riding point of view, it's very usable straight out of the box. But then, when you want to take it off-road, it works really, really well with goggles as well. The eye port is nice and wide, and the overall shape just lends itself to that kind of riding. Now, one thing you'll notice straight away with this helmet is the weight. It's actually one of the lighter helmets in this group, and you can feel that when you're moving around, whether you're on the road or standing up off-road. Ventilation is excellent too. It's been designed with that off-road background in mind, so it flows a lot of air through the helmet and keeps things cool when you're working a bit harder. Vision is another strong point. You've got a really wide field of view, which just gives you that extra awareness whether you're on the road or picking your way through something more technical. Now, I'll be honest, swapping the visor out isn't the easiest job. You do need tools, and it's a bit more fiddly than some of the others here. But once it's set up how you want, it works really well. It might not have the brand recognition of something like Arai or Shoei, but in terms of how it actually performs across different types of riding, this is one of the best all-rounders here. So if you're the kind of rider who genuinely mixes road riding with off-road, and you want one helmet that can properly do both, this is a really strong option. Next up, we've got the HJC RPHA 60, and the colour we've got here is the Arbor Green. If you want to check this one out in more detail, I'll put a link in the top right now so you can head straight through to it on our website. Now, this is the newest helmet in this lineup, and honestly, this one has been a bit of a surprise because this might be the first time HJC have brought an adventure helmet into their premium RPHA range, and it feels like they've got it really right, straight out of the gate. This sits slightly more towards the road side of adventure riding, but realistically, this is where most of the helmets spend their time anyway. And the key thing is, it still works when you go off-road. You can run it with goggles, the eye port is wide enough, and it doesn't feel out of place when you take it onto trails or green lanes. Now, in terms of build, you've got HJC's premium shell construction, proper ventilation running front to back, and a design that has been wind tunnel tested for stability. So on the road, it feels planted, it feels smooth, and it's very easy to live with. Ventilation is strong as well. You've got a good amount of airflow coming through the helmet, which makes all the difference on longer rides and when things start to heat up. Now, weight-wise, again, it's not the lightest in this group, but again, like a lot of helmets, once it's on your head, it carries the weight really well. It doesn't feel overly heavy in real-world riding. One thing worth mentioning is the intercom setup. This is designed to work really well with HJC's own integrated system. So if you're planning on running intercom, it's a very clean setup. So it does slightly limit you if you prefer using other brands, so that's just something to be aware of. You get a good amount in the box, pin lock included, additional visor, so again, it feels like a complete package. And overall, that's what stands out with this helmet. It just feels very well rounded. It looks good, it feels good, and it performs well across the board. So if you're looking for something a bit more modern, a bit more refined, and slightly more road focused without losing that adventure capability, this is a really, really strong option. And finally, we've got a bit of a wild card. This is the Schuberth E2, and the colour we've got here is the trail blue. If you want to check this one out in more detail, again, I'll put the link in the top right now so you can head straight through to it on our website. Now this one is the only one in our lineup that is modular, a flip-up helmet. So straight away, it's a bit different to everything else we've looked at. And the reason it's here is because of what it offers from a comfort and usability point of view. Schuberth have always been known for making some of the most comfortable and quietest helmet on the market, and that's basically their DNA, combined with an adventure style design. So if you're doing a lot of road miles, touring, commuting, or longer trips, this is easily one of the nicest helmets here to actually live with day to day. You've got the flip up, the internal sun visor, really strong noise control, and overall it just feels very refined. Now in terms of build, this is a premium bit of kit. It's been developed in Schuberth's own wind tunnel, so aerodynamics and air acoustics are a big focus here. And you can feel that when you're riding at speed. It's stable, it's smooth, and noticeably quieter than most adventure helmets. Ventilation is good as well. With multiple intake and exhaust vents, it's designed to work with a wide range of conditions, whether you're on the road or you're doing light off-road riding. You've also got full intercom integration built in. So if you're planning on running comms, this is one of the cleanest setups here. Everything is pre-installed and ready to go. Now this is also P&J homologated, so you can ride it legally with the chin bar up or down, which adds another layer of versatility. But this is the key thing with this helmet. This is more road and touring focused than the others. Yes, you can take it off-road and it will handle light trails and green lanes, but if you're doing more aggressive off-road riding, something like the Airoh or the Scorpion is going to feel more natural. And that's why this sits in a bit of a wild card area. It's not trying to be the most hardcore adventure helmet here, it's trying to be the most comfortable, most usable, and most refined. So if your riding leans more towards road, touring, and long distance comfort, but you still like that adventure look and occasional off-road capability, then this is probably the one to consider. So there you go. That's our top picks when it comes to adventure helmets. Now, like we said at the start, this is one of those categories where there isn't a single perfect helmet, because it all depends on how you ride. Some of these lean more towards road and touring, some are better off-road, and some try to sit right in the middle. But honestly, every single helmet here is seriously good. There isn't a weak option in this lineup. They all do their job properly, they're all built to a high standard, and whichever one you go for, you're getting a quality bit of kit. Now, just to make things a bit easier, I'll throw a comparison up on the screen now so you can see how all of these stack up side by side. You've got things like weight, features, road versus off-road bias, and overall usability. So depending on how you actually ride, that should help you narrow things down pretty quickly. Now, if you look at it from a shop point of view, based on customer feedback, what we sell day in and day out, and what the team here tends to lean towards, there's a bit of a split. You've got people going for value with things like the Scorpion, you've got riders who want the Arai heritage, and you've got helmets like the Airoh and the Schuberth covering very specific types of riding. But the one that really stands out as the most complete package is the HJC RPHA 60. It just does everything really well. It's premium, it fits extremely well, it's comfortable over long rides, and it works both on the road and when you take it off-road. And that's the key thing with this helmet. It doesn't feel like it compromises anywhere. This is the one that I'd pick if I actually wanted to use an adventure helmet day to day. Not because the others aren't good, because they are. But this just feels like the best all-round option in this category right now. But like I always say, fit is everything. What works for me might not work for you. And if you can, get into store, try them on, and see which actually feels right on your head. If you want to check out any of these helmets out properly, links have been on the screen throughout the video. and down in the description. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments. And if you've used any of these helmets yourself, let us know your experience as well. It always helps other riders out. And as always, please like, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Ride safe, and we'll see you in the next one.